Testing for sound, testing for sound.
I heard you, Derek.
Oh, Mr. Chair, We have a quorum, so with your permission, we can start the meeting and I'll make a brief announcement.
Go ahead if you would make an announcement before we begin here. Go ahead if you would.
Morning. Welcome to the MIDA board meeting being held on June 26th, 2026 at 9 a.m. We are currently holding this meeting via Zoom, and we are also streaming live via YouTube. We would like to recognize the following board members in attendance at this time. We have President Stuart Adams, Commissioner Gage Furrer, Mayor Mark Shepard, County Council Member Eric Rowland, Gary Harder, Mike Ostermiller. Before we begin the meeting, we'd like to go through the rules for public hearings. First, any action that causes a disruption to the board's ability to conduct the meeting or safety concerns involving threats or unprotected speech are not permitted. These actions or comments may result in removal from the meeting. Public meetings or public hearings will be held for the proposed amended budget for fiscal year 2025-26 and the proposed budget for fiscal year 26-27. The public hearings are limited to a maximum of 30 minutes each and will only include commenters who registered prior to this meeting. For these public hearings, comments must be related to the proposed budgets. Each speaker is limited to speaking for 2 minutes. Staff will call your name and unmute you when it is your turn to speak. Please ensure that your Zoom display name exactly matches the name you are registered with. If your names do not match, staff may be unable to identify you in the queue and you may miss your turn to speak. After your 2 minutes expire, you will be muted and we will move on to the next speaker. If an individual is actively speaking while the 30-minute time limit is reached, that individual will be permitted to finish their allotted 2-minute comment period. Board members, we ask that you indicate your name before commenting or making a motion for the public record. And with that, Mr. Chair, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Appreciate that announcement. I maybe just add to it that just for the convenience of those that may be wanting to make public comment today and for the board and in interest of time, if there's a comment that wants to be made about the Stratus project, that's not on our agenda. It'll be on a subsequent agenda probably as they go through that process. There's nothing on the agenda on our budget that refers to them. So if there are those that want to make public comment to that, we'll probably defer those to another meeting. So you won't need to stay through the meeting for the public comment period of time because we will probably not recognize those comments. So with that, I appreciate everyone being here. I'd like to recognize Eric Rowland. He's a new board member. I'm remote. I'm actually had some other obligations here, so I'm actually in my vehicle for a moment parked, but appreciate having the opportunity of doing this remotely. But we'd like to recognize you and welcome you to the board. Obviously, we had a replacement of Kent McMillan. We hope he's doing well. We're concerned about his health, but welcome you and hopefully you feel welcome here at the MIDA board. I don't know if there's any comment from any other board member, but thank you. And I'd like to give you an applause, but I think I'm alone here, so I think it would be a little difficult to do. But thank you for being here today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here. And yeah, Carl it was unfortunate that his health declined to where it is, but I will pass along your best wishes to him. But thank you for introducing me, and I look forward to working with you all.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. And again, we appreciate Governor Cox for that appointment. So now we have a set of minutes. Why don't we move to those minutes if we can? Any comments, discussion, or motion on the minutes?
It's Mayor Shepard. I move to approve the minutes as submitted.
Okay. Do you have a second?
Gary, I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Rule that passes unanimously. So let's now get into the agenda. We're going to take the first public hearing, I think. No, excuse me. Before we take public hearing, we're going to do our budget. Paula, do you want to go ahead with that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Paula Eldridge. I am the CFO, Chief Financial Officer for MIDA. The first thing that I'd like to bring attention to the board is that the results of our fraud risk assessment, we have been doing this for several years. We follow the guidance of the state auditor's office and have gone through that fraud assessment process. We are assessing the fraud risk of MIDA at a very low risk, and that is primarily because of the the controls that we have over the handling of cash. No one person has the ability to process cash transactions from start to finish. So all of that is done under at least two people. So I would just leave it at that and ask if the board has any comments or questions about the fraud risk assessment.
Any questions about that from any board member? Thank you. Paula, why don't you move ahead with the budget?
Okay, I'm happy to do so. Just a quick word on our budget. It's a balanced budget, which means that all of the activities, the inflows and outflows, the revenues and expenditures are all covered. And our budget and MIDA's financial statements are pretty simple. We have project areas that in those project areas, we invest in infrastructure that is important to the development of those project areas. We engage in financing activities associated with those projects. And then in turn, the revenues generated from those project areas cover the costs of the investments in the infrastructure, any financing costs, and the cost of our operations. The first budget I'd like to talk to is the amended budget. If we could just go to that, to the amended budget, I think it's on the next page. We are amending the budget this year because in December of 2025, the Mount Village PID issued a tax allocation revenue bond. That bond provided MIDA with the funds to accelerate the completion of infrastructure projects in the project area in Wasatch County and also pay off the loan from the Military Development Infrastructure Revolving Loan Fund that was used to finance the Jordanelle Parkway. So what you're going to see is a transfer of funds from the Mountain Village PID on the revenue side, and that those funds on the expenditure side were able to pay off the debt service and also help generate revenues for this transfer for the other uses. So you'll see that these numbers have increased from what we originally approved in the other uses section. So are there any questions about the budget?
Yeah, maybe not a question, but pretty amazing. We're paying off that bond early. That's a big deal. Any questions about the budget or anything of that? But that's a very positive event and a happy day as we continue to exceed what I'd say is revenue expectations, and it's always great to pay off the debt, in my opinion.
Mr. Chair, Gary, I have a question for Paula.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Mr.
Thank you. Paula, back up on part one on the revenue side. You just have an entry just on the other / miscellaneous revenues, 7 million, 5 million, 1.4. Could you just tell me what is incorporated in that line, other miscellaneous revenue, please?
It's primarily the interest that we're earning on the funds
That's
at
fine.
rest. So one of the things, we have the funds set aside for the 1800 North project, for instance. Those interest revenues on those project funds are generating income. Also with our bond funds, with tax allocation revenue bonds, we hold a lot of money with the bond trustee as security for those particular debt service payments. We get the benefit of the interest earnings on those funds.
Thank you.
But thank you for that question. Any other questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this is Mike Ostermiller. Is it all right if I ask a quick question? This is Mike. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, Mike, we got you.
Okay, thanks. Just maybe a comment and then a question. I think one of the things that MIDA does, which I think is really innovative and creative, is we actually, I think as everyone on the board knows, we assign a member of our board of directors to liaison with our staff. And I've had that opportunity to do that over the last several years, which means I attend all of the weekly staff meetings and have regular conversations with members of the staff, really on a, I mean, lately it's been on a daily basis, but always on a weekly basis. I think that's really important for the budget, especially because it allows to make, it just assures that we have really good synergy between the board and what the board is trying to accomplish and what the staff is doing to execute the board's goals. And it increases communication, but also it's been a great learning experience for me, especially on some of the finer points of the budget. And one of the things that I've learned is that, and I'd like to ask Paula to just comment on this, on a regular basis, everything pertaining to our budget is posted to the state's transparency website. So it's available for any member of the public to go in and look at really any time, and it's updated regularly. So without having to do a grammar request or anything, they'll be able to go access that. And so maybe I just ask Paula to just comment on that really quick. And then my other question is there anything related to the Stratus project that's in this budget at all?
Thank you, Mike. Those are great questions. So we post quarterly on Transparent Utah the actual results of our activities of revenues and expenditures, and that information is accessible to the public. And in answer to your second question, Stratos as a new project area doesn't have revenues coming in, and it has very minimal expenses. We anticipate that in future years that it will have more of an impact, but this year's budget for either the fiscal 25-26 or the fiscal 26-27, Stratos is not a material contributor either to revenues or expenditures. Therefore, it doesn't have a presence on the budget. And you'll notice that on the expenditures, we have listed out each of our project areas, and those expenditures really pertain to the infrastructure project costs that we expect. And it also covers any administrative costs that we incur to service those project areas. And I would just open it up to any other further questions on that point.
Yeah, are there any other questions? Sorry, for some reason I lost connection there for a moment, but I'm back. So any other questions? Good comments.
Okay, Mr. Chair, if I may, I'll proceed to the ensuing year's budget. If we look on, okay, if we look on column D, if we could go to the first page for the revenues, I'd like to just quickly talk about that.
Go ahead.
We anticipate increased project revenues from our project areas, especially with property tax allocation and the fees, taxes and fees. This is really a function of the growth in our project areas. We are really seeing the benefits of the infrastructure investments that have been made from previous years, and that you can see the benefit of that. Also, I would just point you to the other sources. You will see proceeds from note issuance of 16.5 million. That is the infrastructure revolving loan fund loan that we received authorization for last board meeting. And we anticipate that that will be executed next month. And that will be used to help build the infrastructure for the Utah National Guard Camp Williams project and support the ground leases that will be executed there. Also, I would just like to point to the next section on the expenditures. There
Yeah, go
is
ahead.
a modest increase in administrative cost in response to the growth in the MIDA project areas and in the increasing service needs. So you'll see that. If you look down in the other uses or in the debt-related expenditures, you will see that there is debt service principal and interest for MIDA. What these include are the loans for the Building D, which is the attainable housing that we have in Wasatch County. And then it's also the bond that we have that benefits the infrastructure or funded the infrastructure in Wasatch County that was issued by MIDA. Then you can see this other uses section has grown also. These are pledged revenues that are generated from the project areas and are pledged to the bonds that have been issued by our public infrastructure district. And with that, I would just open it up for any additional questions.
Let's bring it back to the board. I'm going to leave my camera off so I don't lose connection again. But do we have questions from the board? If not, we're going to open this up for public comments. But any further comments by the MIDA board? Seeing none, let's go ahead and open it up for public comment. Help me out, Derek. Do we have some comments here on the online? If we do, can you bring them on one at a time?
Mr.
Yes.
Chair, the first person who signed up to speak is Wei Wong. I don't see him on, but want to give him a chance to say something if he's under a different name.
Let's do that if we can. If you can unmute or and then go ahead if you would.
I don't think he's
here.
on. So I will move to the next person who signed up, Fernando Cole. I do not want to see him on, but he can raise his hand if he's under a different name on Zoom.
Let's again, if he's here.
I don't see him, but we do have somebody who's not under a name, so that must not be them. The last person who signed up for public comment is Nate Jackson. And I do not see him on either. So that was all the people who signed up for the public hearing.
Let's just give another opportunity. Anybody that hasn't, do we have anybody else that?
Mr. Chair, it looks like no one is raising their hand to speak.
Okay, thank you very much. If seeing no public comment, let's bring it back to the board for any further discussion or action on the budget.
I've got my hand up, but it's looks like it's a little weak hand here. So I would just like to compliment Paula on the way she runs this or posts and takes care of the budget. I think the entire staff needs to be congratulated. This is a very top-notch organization, and it's run by very top-notch people. And I appreciate being part of it and being able to work with all of you. This is it's not very often that you get. I think we mentioned this in the last meeting, but you have no appreciable findings by auditors, and anyway, you should be congratulated for that. That's really quite amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, I would echo that compliment. Phenomenal staff, both executing projects and then maintaining and keeping them functional and within budget and economically a real positive impact on the state. So looking for a motion to approve, I think, the budget if we've got one.
Mr. President, this is Eric Rowland. I'll make a motion to approve the budget as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a
Mr.
second?
Chairman, is Mark Shepard. To clarify, are we approving, because we've got two of them on there, two items. One's to approve the amendments to the 25-26, and the other one's the approval of the 26-27.
Yeah, we probably need to separate those motions. We heard them together, and again, I left for a moment, but it was, I think, easier to try to make sense of them by letting Paula go ahead and present them together. But we do need to separate the motions, I believe, if that's correct. So let me take a motion on probably do the budget first and then the amended budget. Wouldn't that be the proper order?
And I'll amend my motion to approve the proposed budget.
Okay, we have a motion, and I assume Mr. Shep, Mark.
Yeah, I'll second
Mayor,
that.
okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Now I'll take a motion on the amended budget.
Okay, I'll move that we approve the amendments to the 25-26 budget.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve the amended budget. Do you have a second?
Second, Eric Rowland.
Okay, I'll go ahead and place that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Let's go ahead. Now we're down to appointing I think we're down to number 9, aren't we? Down to appoint a new director. Am I in the right spot on the budget?
Mr. Chair, we are at number 8, the staff presentation.
Oh, there we go. Yes, I missed one. Go ahead. Richard, I didn't want to skip you. Go ahead, if you will.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll quickly turn my camera on here. Every year, we're required by state law to do some training for the boards on the Public and Open Meetings Act. One of the unique things about MIDA is everyone on our board gets this in multiple places. You're either a member of another state agency or board, or you're a local government official, or you serve on other MIDA boards, such as our PID boards. Our PID boards met just a couple of weeks ago, and all 5 PID boards that was prepared by staff that lays out kind of the summary of the high points and the very important points of the Open Meetings Act. And I'm not going to take you through those this morning. I'll refer you back to that document. I would like to just give a shout out to Derek Brenchley and Morgan Nebeker, are people that run these meetings, and they do such a wonderful job of making sure that we don't have any glitches, that our meetings operate so well, and they do all the public noticing for all of these meetings. What I would like you to do, though, is read through that. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You can ask any one of the MIDA lawyers, myself, Nicole, Mitch. You can go to Derek, and Derek can direct you to one of us or help you with a question you may have. And I would also like to encourage you to kind of watch for these things during meetings. And if something comes up in a meeting or right prior to a meeting, let's say, and you have a question, please ask it then. I mean, if there's something in a meeting that comes up that you think's a little out of line, we would like to hear about it and be able to address it as it happens and make sure it's correct. We take this very seriously. So with that, I will, unless there are any questions, I'll turn it back to the chair.
Thank you again for that training. Do we have any questions? Just open it up real fast to see if we have anything.
This is Jerry. I generally rank these trainings on how concise and quick they can be. I think I've probably had them maybe even hundreds of times over the last years. And anyway, this will rank right up there to where I think you get an A in this training.
Well, I'm just the messenger. It's the staff.
Thank you. Yeah, and I agree. I think I'm at a better location now, so I can turn my camera on. But I would agree with that. Not only from the presentation, but for the preparation. We try to conduct our meetings as open and transparent and as efficient as possible. So thank you for your great efforts to do that. And over the years, it's a lot of work. So thank you. Any other comments for Richard? If not, I now am going to move to number 9. And we've got a great opportunity here to do some really fun things. One is, Paul, I don't know if words can really express our appreciation for your service to MIDA. It's I was just in another meeting, and the reason I was a little off and remote in a car was because I attended a previous meeting, and in that meeting there were comments about all that MIDA had done at Hill Air Force Base, and the fact that it's taken the base from into a spot where the old BRAC base closure efforts are probably going to pass by Hill because of all the things that MIDA's done. And we know what's happened and what we've done in the enhanced use lease, and then to be able to keep a promise and actually take care of recreation facilities and others. Your service has been unbelievable. I just want to tell you that. So this next item on the agenda is a little difficult as we look for another director. And thank you for that service. But we've done a lot of work and looked around. You'll see on the agenda that we have an item to actually recommend Dan Hammert. And I've got a little history with Dan. We served together in the Senate and went through a period of time that most people remember as COVID hit the world and the state, and we there's a lot of great things that Dan has done for the state of Utah, but among those, he obviously served as a state senator, but he's a small business owner, small, I say fairly, maybe a large business owner. And then actually after he left the legislature, I ran GoEd and GoYo at the time, and understands economic development. Paul, it'll be hard to replace you, but if anybody has a chance of doing that, Dan surely has the qualifications to be able to help us. So with that, Richard, I don't know if you have anything else, or Paul, maybe you want to make a comment here.
Just that it's been my absolute honor to work all these years with you and the public and the military and trying to fulfill an important public policy. I've always enjoyed the fact that we support our military, we support national security as Utahns, but through MIDA, we've been able to not only support them, but bring new jobs, new tax revenues, new opportunities. At the same time, we're shoring up the military. So it's been my absolute honor to work with everyone, particularly you as a board. You've been amazing to work with. Your dedication to the military and interest. We're one of the few organizations that doesn't even pay a per diem per meeting. We don't even pay for mileage, and you guys have been willing to drive to Wasatch County, up at Falcon Hill, to the Capitol, as we've moved around the state trying to do important things. So again, my hat's off to you. And I think you're making a tremendous choice in Dan. He is, I've also got to know him professionally when he was a senator, and then working at MIDA while he was running GoEd. And what an incredible background in the public side, the private side, and understanding public-private partnerships and the needs of the state of Utah and the public. So I think he's a great one. And so you're aware, years ago, before we had the staff we had, and we were a very small organization. I was in desperate need for a deputy. And I'd heard Dan was leaving the Senate. And so I tried to see if we could interest Dan to come in and work with MIDA back then. And he was very interested, but politely declined. And then I found out later it's because the governor was appointing him to GoEd, to run GoEd. So with that additional experience he had at GoEd, I just think you've got a tremendous asset that can take MIDA even greater and stronger places and work very closely with the state of Utah in coordination of future economic development.
Well, thank you, Paul. I bring it to the board and for discussion.
Chair Gary.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Harder.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'd like to talk to the character and thing of both Paul Morris and Dan Hemmert. We've known them in many capacities, as you've described, and as Paul has described over the years. And I want to thank Paul for everything that he's done for us. And we've had some great relationships overall, and terrific discussions and wise counsel on ways to move forward. And Mr. Chair, you and Paul both talked about the growth that we've seen where we started at Hill, where that is just going terrific in support of the military mission and the things that happen throughout the state. And we've expanded throughout the state with the National Guard Project, the MRF, and many others as well. I know we'll hear some updates a little later on, but I always knew that we could have honest conversations with our executive directors, and with Paul and with Nicole and with Rick Mayfield before that as well. And I look forward to the same with Dan in my interactions with him, and for all the things that both you and Paul have described, the talents that he brings to the position. I can't think of another person that we could bring in who has the breadth of experience, the dedication in their heart. And we've seen the accomplishments that he's been able to achieve, both in his time in the Senate and in GOEO, and in his current positions that he's been doing as representing various interests in the state as well. So, Mr. Chair, I'm happy to make the motion, but I don't want to get out in front of how you want to proceed with this as well.
Let's take a motion. If there's further discussion, we can take it as a part of the discussion. So I'll accept that motion. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I proudly support the motion. I'd like to make the motion. We support Resolution 2026-12 for the appointment of Dan Hemmert to be the MIDA Executive Director, and for his professional services contract as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have now? I'll look for a second and further discussion. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second that. This is Gage.
Okay, Gage. Any discussion on the motion we've got before us now?
Just a huge thank you to Paul, first off, Mr. Chairman, and I mean, for all that he has done. We've all said it. We all feel it. He's truly helped bring MIDA to where it is today. If despite all of the concerns about MIDA, we've done some amazing good over the years, and Paul's had a massive, if not controlling hand in that, and so we appreciate him. And when I was told that it was Dan that was coming in to take his place, I couldn't be more excited. So we couldn't have picked a better guy. So wholeheartedly, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Further discussion. Any other comments?
Senator Stevenson.
Go ahead.
No, I would just give a great second to everything that's been said. Worked closely with Paul, and what an amazing man. And Dan will bring a lot to the table. And I'm going to correct Mayor Shepherd, though. I don't think there's any concerns over there's just a lot of misinformation out there. So
amen. I will. You're correct.
Thank you. Thanks to both of them.
And I would say that too. Any other thoughts? If not, I may just make a concluding thought. Don't want to cut anybody off, but you see what's going on, and as you know, Hill's involvement in this last operation in Iran, and you understand what's going on with the Sentinel program with Northrop Grumman, and then you understand the need for IT, and we're competing very. The world's not a safe spot we're isolated in America, but in many countries of the world, there's still threats of some type of missile attack or some other type of other attack. And we're in a very competitive, both economically and militarily, a very competitive world environment. And we talk about all the projects. We talk about the National Guard projects, the drone projects, all the things that list. But hopefully we keep in mind it isn't just economic development, but it's actually the ghost strikes at the very core of freedom, and trying to make sure that we protect what we have here in America. And Paul, you've done that. You can't quantify the number. In fact, I can't keep track of the number of projects and things that have been done. You can't quantify the work you've done. It just can't be done that way. So we can't say enough. And you represent our entire staff and those that stand behind you. We had a very lean but very capable staff. I just want to echo as we make this transition, a great appreciation for what you've done. It just has been phenomenal and just unbelievable. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and place the motion. All in favor of, I think it's resolution 2026-12, a resolution appointing a new executive director, Dan Hammer. Say aye.
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 Any opposed? And I'll take that as an appreciation for Paul's work too. So thank you. Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead to number 10. I think, Paul, you're on number 10, so I'll let you go ahead and take it. If you're there, Paul. We have number 10, resolution 2026-13.
My apologies, I couldn't get unmuted.
I thought you were leaving town because
I figured.
No.
I thought you'd taken off on us, but I've had that same problem, so I was going to go ahead and move a little bit. Go ahead, Paul.
No, and you're just stating correctly. This is a resolution. We have a number of trustees and members of the various public infrastructure boards, development review committees, and you have staff representation on there. And so this formalizes these appointments.
Okay. Any discussion on those appointments? If not, let's go ahead. I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, it's Mark Shepard. I've reviewed all of the appointments on there from the staff notes, and I would move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Looking for a second.
Eric Rowland, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'm going to place it with no discussion. Having heard no discussion, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Ariana, we're on to number 11. So why don't you go ahead and take that? So you're on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Ariana Farber. I am the Deputy Director and also Project Area Director of the National Guard Project Area. And with your permission, sir, I would like to present agenda items 11 and 12 together because they're so closely related.
That's a good idea. So why don't you, we'll take action on them separately, correct?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
So first we have agenda item 11, which approves the foundational ground lease agreement between MIDA and the Utah State Armory Board. This agreement is a ground lease for approximately 17 acres of land at Camp Williams. I'm pleased to report that the Armory Board officially granted their required approval for this lease just this past Wednesday on June 25th. The grounds are located just above the cemetery grounds. And the thing that is very exciting about this particular parcel that is being leased is that there were no stated purposes for this land. So it's perfectly situated for us to develop and to create some revenues for future projects for the Guard. That approval directly paves the way for our second item, which
so before you, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I know you can take public comment, but when you say that, and I just don't know that people totally understand when you say create additional revenue for the Guard. That's a big deal. You want to just expand on that a little bit? What do you mean by create additional revenue for the Guard?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Chair. So the idea behind all of we have the idea, it originated with the enhanced use lease, with the idea that there's underutilized property on federal and military ground. So the idea is that if we take this underutilized property and we develop it for commercial purposes, we can generate revenues, which then can be can flow towards future projects. So currently, the National Guard has close to $100 million to $150 million worth of projects that they desire. Those projects are modernization projects, they're major infrastructure projects, they're projects that are, without going into too great of detail because of security concerns, they're projects that would support new range facilities in places all over the state, which would help with dispersing assets in places all over the state. We see with our wildfires now that are going on throughout the state, we can help support the Guard. Otherwise, the Guard is dependent on military construction funds. Military construction funds are difficult to secure, sir. It takes many, many years to get on the list, and they're not guaranteed. Additionally, it would it takes longer to function under the military construction project process. So essentially what we are doing here, sir, is we are leveraging the power of private capital to help support military readiness and operations in our infrastructure and facilities.
And I would add to that you're not only doing that, but that the military construction, the MILCON funds, would be paid for from tax revenue, which are taxpayers' revenues. And right now we're taking non-producing, non-tax producing federal ground and turning it into a revenue producing asset. And that those facilities are being paid for instead of by taxpayers, that's paid for by the economics of the private sector coming in and backfilling what the taxpayer doesn't have the capacity to do. And it actually takes less of a burden on tax revenue. It's actually a private sector solution to a lack of tax funds. And in addition to taking care of critical things for their military missions. I don't know if anybody really understands that, but just wanted to make sure if anybody's listening, they understand what a great asset this is for America.
Indeed, sir, absolutely correct. And this particular parcel is 17 acres that was not being utilized and not being slated for any uses. It's ideal for this particular project, which I'm happy to discuss in the next agenda item, which is the ground sublease agreement between MIDA and Lunar Resources, which is a major defense contractor. So not only is this commercial development going to support future military projects for our guardsmen, but it's also supportive of our national security posture as well, because it is a major defense contractor. So with that, but first I'd like to just make a note that procedurally, following the board's approval of these items today, the final step will be to take this to the Legislative Management Committee meeting for final approval, because it is a Utah Armory Board action. So these agreements will make the Lunar Resources project a reality. So I'm extremely honored to present this project, which will operate strictly as a commercial manufacturing and assembly plant at Camp Williams. This industrial, sir? This industrial facility will be dedicated entirely to the fabrication of advanced directed energy defensive platforms. These systems provide vital capabilities to our operational forces and are currently being used by our allies, currently being used in Ukraine in an active theater of war. So, hosting this world-class manufacturing operation directly advances MIDA's military mission, and it strengthens our state's aerospace and defense ecosystem. But beyond this, the economic impact of this facility is substantial. The project is projected to create 420 new jobs, generate more than $188 million of wages over the next 10 years, and bring nearly $85 million to capital investment in Utah. But I don't want to speak to it. I have the CEO of Lunar Resources. He wasn't able to attend this meeting live, but he did record a slideshow to go into more depth and detail about this particularly interesting and advanced technology that is currently being used in a theater of war. I would like to present that now. It's a short pre-recorded presentation from Elliot Carroll. He's the CEO, and he's on a plane, so he couldn't join us. But I want to go ahead and Derek, if you could cue that up, please.
Why don't we cue that up? And I assume that it's not classified, so we can all
No,
hear
sir.
it. So
we can go ahead and present this. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, folks. My name is Elliot Carroll. I'm the CEO of Lunar Resources. I apologize I am not with you today, as I am currently flying over the Atlantic from Europe back to the United States, but I was able to put together a few slides as well as send in this video to give you an overview of Lunar Resources as well as our Helix 1 factory planned to be constructed in Utah. If you can open up the slides and start on slide 1 under corporate overview. Lunar Resources is a NASA spinout founded in 2018 to enable America to become a space industrial nation, meaning to perform resource extraction and manufacturing in space. We're currently located and headquartered in Houston, Texas, and we are the leaders in pulse power technology in America, having developed our Helix driver technology. And our primary effort currently is commercializing the Helix driver over multiple sectors, including defense and national security, oil, gas, and geothermal, power transmission, and industrial power systems. Moving on to slide 2. Our Utah operations will primarily focus on our defense group. Now, due to drone warfare as well as unmanned vehicles and unmanned surface vessels, there is a very high demand for low-cost, small directed energy systems that can permanently defeat these systems during combat. The Helix driver technology enables orders of magnitude reduction in cost in development and deployment of directed energy systems. Currently, our technology is deployed in almost every major combat zone, and we are the largest, I believe we have the largest directed energy procurement in history across our partners, DoD partners, which include both the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Missile Defense Agency. Our technology is used to go on drones to shoot other drones down. It's used by infantry soldiers to protect against drones. It's used on vehicles and vessels to protect against a range of electronic targets as well. We also, our systems are deployed on various critical infrastructure around the world to protect against electronic threats. Moving to slide 3. The Helix 1 factory will be where these systems are made in the future at scale. This will be America's largest factory for number 1, directed energy weapons, number 2, high voltage capacitors, and number 3, high power magnetrons. And I believe that once operational, this will be a critical strategic asset for the United States military industrial complex. The initial phase of the factory is over 100,000 square feet with plans to double that during phase 2. It will bring over 400 manufacturing jobs to Utah. And we're already engaged with both the Utah technical colleges and universities as well as veteran job programs to start employment as early as August this year. So I would like to thank MIDA for all their efforts that they've helped us put this together, as well as the governor's office, and I look forward to engaging with you.
Thank you. So following that, sir, I would just like to also extend a huge thank you out to the Governor's Office of Economic Development for making the introduction to Elliot and his incredible company and his incredible technology that's really supporting our armed forces throughout the world currently. So with that, I'll turn it over to this body for your determination.
Thank you. And Jeff, I don't know if you want to make any comments on that. Again, we appreciate your efforts and GoEd's efforts. If not, let's bring it to the board. We need probably 2 motions here, and I'll open it up for discussion. But we'll probably take the first motion as number 11, 2026 14A, the approving the ground lease, and then we'll take the second one later. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve 2026-14, approving the ground lease.
Okay. Do we have a second to that?
Derek Rowland, second.
A motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, the motion passes. Now let's take resolution 2026-15, approving the ground sublease agreement.
Gary Harder, I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-15.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second?
Mike Ostermiller, second.
A motion and a second. Seeing no discussion, I'll place it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Roll, that motion also passes. So thank you again. Wow, exciting things, and it doesn't seem to end as to what MIDA is involved with. Thank you again. It takes a lot of work to put these projects together, and again, thank the staff. Let's go ahead, number 13, resolution 2026, adopting amendments to the Falcon Hill project area. Let's see, I think is there Ariana, you going to take that also?
Mr. Chair, this one will be Hillary Venable.
Hillary. Okay, sorry, Hillary. There we go, Hillary. Yes, I've got the right. Go ahead, Hillary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. My name is Hillary Venable with the Falcon Hill project area, and this particular resolution looks at our standards and guidelines. The Falcon Hill DRC has reviewed these proposed updates to the standards and guidelines, which were last revised in 2020, and is recommending board approval. Your packet includes a redline version showing all of the proposed changes. Most of those were administrative and engineering related and are intended to align the standards with current planning and engineering best practices recommended by our consultants. The one change affecting the approval process is in Chapter 2, where we're proposing that the DRC approve site plan applications. I am happy to answer any questions you might have and/or recommend a motion for the board to adopt the amendments to the Falcon Hill Project Area Development Standards and Guidelines.
Yeah, thank you for that presentation. Do we have any questions about those amendments? Hillary, thanks for the presentation. I'm going to go ahead and take a motion then.
Mr. Chair, this is Eric Rowland. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-16 as presented.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Mark Shepard, I'll second it.
Thank you. All in, looking for discussion, but seeing none, I'll place it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion does pass unanimously. So let's go ahead, Hillary. I think you're going to take 2026-17 also.
I am. Thank you so much. All right. This is approving the Roy Innovation Center expansion site plan. And this proposed site plan with required submittals was taken to the DRC earlier this month on June 8th and referred to the board for approval. I have a layout of the campus. This was utilized in the DRC meeting. This first slide shows you the layout of the campus as it currently is. The second slide is the proposed expansion. At the top of your screen, you'll be able to familiarize yourself with the freeway. That's up at the top of the screen. So that's west, the freeway and Falcon Hill. So you can see that the parking will expand west towards the freeway and then north some. The proposed site sits on 16.9 acres and expands parking, like I said, to the west and the north, and also has planned complementary landscaping to match the current campus design. The site plan strategically addressed traffic flow in and out of the campus as well. SRDP, if you want to go to the next slide, SRDP, the master developer, plans to construct an office building south of Building 1 and north of Peace Parkway. And you can go to just the final slide. I took this also from the developer just to give you, now you're going to have to reorient yourself. West is now at the bottom of your screen. So you can see that that building is planned to be in between Building 1 and Peace Parkway there on the south end of the campus. MIDA's planner and engineering consultants have confirmed that engineering, landscaping, architecture meet Falcon Hill's design standards. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have and or recommend a motion for the board to approve the Roy Innovation Center expansion site plan.
Pretty amazing what's been done there, isn't it? How many? We don't know how many employees, do we? We know how many parking stalls.
Parking stalls, just under 5,000. I think it was just like 3 under 5,000 with over 100 ADA stalls available.
Do we have a discussion on the Roy Innovation Center expansion? Hope probably won't be the last one. Then I'll take a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I go ahead and move. Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead,
Mark,
Gary.
you can do it, Mark.
It's up here, so I figured I'd do it.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm
Move
with
to approve 2026-17, and for this new building, it's this great expansion.
Yeah, I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
I think I'll take those the motion and a second. I think this is Building 5. Is that right, Hillary?
6.
Building 6.
6. Sorry, gee. Okay. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you very much. So let's go ahead now. I think that concludes our agenda as far as resolutions and things we need to take action on. We got some updates. Hillary, are you going to take Falcon Hill, or do we have Taylor or Brett here?
I'm going to go ahead and start us off. I'm happy to open up the project area updates this morning. It is truly an honor to work with such amazing partners. A lot is happening at Falcon Hill and the surrounding areas. If you haven't had a chance to drive north, I'd recommend taking a Sunday drive up into the Clearfield, Roy, Sunset, that area up there to see all of the infrastructure changes. UDOT has adjusted traffic patterns to the east, so now northbound travelers are driving on the new freeway. With that being said, we expect a lot of movement at Falcon Hill, something that Taylor will speak to here shortly. But I'd just like to mention one thing. As you recall, back in November, we approved grant funding for the Aerospace Museum. In just under a year, they've been able to utilize those funds to fund the multiple restoration displays, and offer scholarships and fellowships, fund STEM education programming, among many other things. It's just very exciting to be able to support such a great program. But at this time, I'd like to introduce Brett Christensen. He is the Enhanced Use Lease Manager for the base, for Hill Air Force Base. He's going to give us a few updates, and then following Brett, we will bring Taylor in for his presentation.
Okay, well, welcome, Brett, and we've kept you this project busy over the years, so go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, you are totally correct. So, good morning to the MIDA board and MIDA staff, our partners across the state of Utah. My name is Brett Christensen. I apologize. Technology has defeated me this morning, so my camera is not inoperable, and my backup camera is also inoperable. So here we are. But I just wanted to just give a couple quick updates. First off, we should be breaking ground on the new 1800 North Gate at Hill Air Force Base here in the next few weeks, which is exciting. Secondly, building 1573 is under construction. We're really excited about this facility. Taylor's going to talk some more about the details of that. But just for your information, the 770 employees will be moving out of the 1200s into that building next year, which is great. That's our purpose.
Can you say that one more time? That's been a long time coming.
770 people. Yeah, 770 people will be moving into the first building, and we'll be commensurately taking down the vacated 1200 series facilities following that move out, sir.
That was, and you said it was one of the purposes of why the enhanced use lease was put together. So it's taken a while to get done, but it's pretty exciting it's happening.
It is. Well, and that's what I wanted to report on. Third is what we're doing with the 1200 series facilities. So as like you mentioned, the reason that we partnered with MIDA in the first place was to try and replace those facilities. They represent 80-year-old World War II warehouses that have been converted to administrative space. There's about 1.1 million square feet down there, and they just are tired and need to be replaced. And so we recognized that we needed to try and be proactive in that effort. We partnered with MIDA, and here we are today talking about replacing those facilities. So we currently have vacated over 150,000 square feet out of that 1.1 million. The new building will help us vacate nearly another 100,000 square feet. So we'll be closing in on 25% of the way through that facility, those facilities. Go ahead, Mr. Chairman Stevenson.
Yeah, could I just ask a question?
Sure.
I am absolutely thrilled to see this. I mean, this has been one of the reasons MIDA exists, and some of the very first things we talked about doing. But I would hope we could move faster than this, because some of us may not have many 15-year projects left in us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
that sounds like a challenge, Senator.
Thank you. Well, that's I would hope it's a challenge, but and then again, maybe not.
Well, sir, it's all about energy, right? So we have the right energy right now. We're moving forward. As you know, the recession on the front end of our deal kind of slowed us down, but we've got good momentum right now, and we're excited. So, but the last thing I wanted to do is just recognize and thank MIDA and its partners, for its partnership over the last 20 years. Like you've basically 20 years. We're looking forward to the next 30 years. I want you to know that I hear regularly from Air Force leadership that moves here and engages with the community, that they have never experienced any kind of a military community like Utah, and it is a huge compliment to Utah, to MIDA, to the role that you guys play. That sentiment. So, wanted to pass that on a monthly basis. I field phone calls from across the DoD, across the country, basically asking, how do we have such a great partnership? How do we have such a great community? And I wanted to just point that out, because I'm actually fielding visits on the regular annually from organizations that come out here and try and figure out how to create MIDA. So just wanted to tell you kudos. So thank you for your support that you've provided over the years. Finally, just special thanks to Paul Morris, obviously. Paul's tenacity, ingenuity, creativity, and dedication to supporting the military has been inspirational. I wanted to just hope he understands that. And sir, you're recognized for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. We agree with all that. And you've been part of it, Military Partners. I think it's the culture at Hill that's helped with that too. So thank you for those comments and for helping. That's amazing. Taylor, I don't know if you're here. It looks like you are. I'm seeing a screen come up, so I can see the Falcon Hill logo. Go ahead.
Sure. Thank you. Happy to be with you guys today. I typically gloss over this slide, but with Paul Morris leaving, and really just in recognition of the board, just kind of acknowledge. I mean, so to remind people, this project started in 2008. At the time it started, there was no ground, outside the fence. There really wasn't a lot of utilities or roadways or infrastructure that would allow for development at Falcon Hill. And it's because of the hard work of, MIDA staff and MIDA board that we are where we are today. I mean, so of our 550 acres of development, we've successfully, have about 100 of those acres, soon to be 116 acres that have been developed. We've completed 1.3 million square feet of commercial construction and also a 114 room hotel, all on federal land. This is ground that was never generating property taxes for the state of Utah and now generates property taxes. I don't have an exact number on jobs, and some of our tenants really don't like us sharing, job numbers, but our best estimate is we're somewhere around 6,000 jobs that exist in Falcon Hill today that did not exist previously. And for reference, I mean, without exception, those jobs are high-paying engineering jobs. They're well above the average, pay rates for the for the local community. So it's been very accretive to bring new buildings into the property tax base, to bring all these new jobs. And as you indicated, President Adams also made it so the base, hopefully is resilient to ever being closed or shut down, in any political discussion in the future of which bases might, be rendered unnecessary. We passed a milestone that some of you know about, last year. We passed $500 million of private investment into Falcon Hill. That doesn't include, dollars that came in from the state. And we're well on our way this year to, I think, getting to, close to $600 million that we have, invested. It took us, 18 years to get to, roughly the $500 million mark. In deference to President Stevenson or Senator Stevenson, his comment about the 15 years of waiting, I don't think we're going to wait another 18 years to get the next $500 million invested, though I give him much more credit for how much longevity he has in him than I think he's giving himself. So we have, at this stage, I mean, office is not in a great spot, anywhere in the state. There's a lot of vacancy. The interesting thing, and I think it just shows the critical need of this project, we're 100% occupied right now. We have no vacancy, in the project. We deliver a new building, here early next year, at the end of this year and in September. And we'll have 12,000 feet of vacancy, but that'll be our only vacancy that we have in the entire project. So it's just amazing to see the demand, for office around the base. And it just speaks to the vision that, Paul Morris and others had as they've kind of led us through, through the years. So a big thanks to everybody. Like I said, I normally don't spend a lot of time on this side, but I just think there's a lot to celebrate and a lot to be proud of, with Falcon Hill and what we've managed to accomplish over the last 18 years. It took us the first 4 years just to get the first building built. The second one was in 2015, third in 2017. Starting in 2019, we just had an explosion, and we've had pretty much nonstop development, at the project since 2019 through COVID and bringing new jobs to the state. To quickly hit, I mean, we aren't kind of sitting back and resting. As I mentioned, we still have, over 400 acres left to develop at Falcon Hill, and we have roughly 32 years left to develop that land. So a couple of things to note, as Brett said, we're very excited about building 1573. I, for one, am excited that, hopefully I'm going to get a pass from Mr. Harder on when are the 1200 series buildings coming down. We finally have our first big swath coming down here.
You are, Taylor. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate that.
I don't want too much of a pass, and I'll tell you why here in a sec. But the reality is, we wanted to make a big win. We've had the ability for some time to build a smaller building. We could have done something that was 10,000, 20,000 feet, pretty comfortably, but we just knew that wasn't going to make the impact. And we also knew there was limited space to build these buildings. If we started building smaller buildings, we were going to run out of room to replace the 1200 area. So what I have here on the screen is the master plan for the area. And this is directly north of the quad. So the quad is just to the, the right over here. This is Alabama Street that runs in between. There's an existing parking lot right here that's in dark gray. And we're building building one of what we see as a 5-building complex in the future. That'll be 500,000 square feet of government buildings to replace the 1,200 area. We've got a rendering here in the top right-hand corner of what the building will look like. I think it's going to look amazing. We've tried to blend something that will fit with the aesthetic of the base, but you try to make it a little bit different, make sure it stands out, and that people, when they go to the base, realize that something different is happening here. I am so proud and excited that, to think that there's a building, 100,000-foot building that's being built that doesn't require any taxpayer, dollars to build the building. I mean, that's something I think, the whole military, should be celebrating, that we have something that's just been generated off of the unused and underutilized ground at Hill Air Force Base. And similar to what Ariana was talking about, I mean, the opportunity to take this ground that's just underutilized and put it to commercial use and generate revenue so we can create projects is really unprecedented. And it's happening in some places around the country. But, Falcon Hill is the largest such project in the Department of War. And we're really proud of that. And we're really proud of all MIDA has accomplished to bring us here. So 4 stories, 100,000 feet. We're looking for a delivery, sometimes toward the end of 2027. We're under construction now, and they're pouring concrete for footing. So we're really excited to see this building come up. The other kind of fun thing to note is we have our GMP pricing back on the building, and we're within budget. We're actually slightly under budget. So we've had a really good track record of delivering projects on time and on budget, in MIDA and in Falcon Hill, and hope to be able to keep that alive with this next project. Hillary mentioned the Roy Innovation Center expansion. We're really excited about this expansion. It is an enormous project. I mean, 275,000 square feet of additional, Class A office space. It's going to be it's going to fit nicely, I think, into the project. We're adopting a similar design aesthetic that we have on the other buildings. It'll be tied by the skywalk system that ties all the other buildings together. And it really provides, I think, a final piece for this campus that's going to, really make it an amazing place to work. As you notice, we're adding a lot of additional parking. A lot of this office space, where there's a trend around the country of people working remotely, a lot of this office space is really designed to be, you can only work in the office, right? Like you can't work from home on a lot of the stuff that people are doing in these buildings. So we do have to make sure we have plenty of parking. I think we've come up with a plan that, gets us adequate parking. As we presented to the BRC in our site plan, we've done a lot of traffic studies. We're continuing to, look at, how we get, 5,000 cars onto the freeway, things like that. But we're really proud of the work our design team has done. And I think we've got a really exciting project. Our anticipated delivery right now is the second quarter of 2028. So we'll start construction, here shortly. We'll start doing some site. We're going to actually started doing a little bit of light site work, but we're going to start more in earnest here. It'll be middle to the end of July. And, we'll be under construction for basically, the next 20 months. So it's going to take us a long time to get this building up, but it's going to be a great showpiece. And, to put it in perspective, it's a 6-story building. The other 6-story building is the building 4 that's on the other side of the campus. And so it'll be that same height. It'll have panoramic views of the entire area. If you haven't ever been on the 6th floor of one of these buildings, because the base already sits on a plateau, once you get on the 6th floor of one of these, you really can see in all directions. It's really pretty spectacular. So we're excited to get this building in, and it's another, indication of everything MIDA's created, and, new property tax revenue, new revenue for the Air Force. And we're really excited at the opportunities this is going to give us to keep progressing Falcon Hill and keep building new buildings for the Air Force. We're continuing to work on the Center for Advanced Manufacturing Production with Weber State. We're in design on this facility now. This would be located directly to the north of the Mars building that's already there in our campus. This is an amazing, public-private partnership between, the federal government, between Weber State, between us, coming together to bring a building that's going to be a building where, new jobs can be created, students can be trained, services can be provided to the Air Force at a cost, far below what they could, generate for themselves. So it's really exciting to see this building coming together. It'll have a large SCIF facility, adjacent to it to meet the growing demands for SCIF space, on base. So we're excited about that. We have schematic design in, initial cost estimate, and we're working right now towards getting to a 30% design so we can update our costs and keep moving that project forward. So excited to be working with Weber State there. Lastly, I will speak just a little bit to Senator Stevenson's comment about, I don't know if I got another 15 years in me. A lot of that depends, and we're very anxious to make sure that it doesn't take us another 15 years to get the next 100,000 foot installment of office at Hill Air Force Base. In order for us to be able to do that, we really need to expand the infrastructure at Falcon Hill. We have the ability with the 1800 North Interchange to complete roads from the North Gate, 5600 South and Roy, all the way to the 1800 North Gate in Sunset. And we have the ability now to complete a road that would go from 650 North in Clearfield to 200 South in Clearfield. Getting these roads in is critical. I mean, one of the reasons we haven't had more development is we simply don't have access to the ground, and we simply don't have utilities to the ground. Now that this road construction is done, we're going to have the ability to finally extend roads into areas of the project and land that we've never had available to us. We're really excited, to be working with a number of tenants that are looking at these areas, both on the south and on the north between the two gates. And so one of the big focuses we have right now is to make sure that we find funding, to get these roads built, to extend Falcon Hill Drive. I mean, the goal is one day to have a frontage road that connects 5600 South and Roy all the way to 200 South and Clearfield. And if you've spent any time driving on State Street or Main Street, depending on what city you're in, on the west side of the freeway, you'll know that the traffic is just unmanageable. I mean, it's almost to a point where it's counterproductive to businesses and things being able to grow, on the west side of the freeway. So getting this frontage road in place, I think, dramatically helps, improve all of the interchanges, improves, access around the base. It improves security. I mean, right now, it's really easy for somebody to, cripple the base and have everybody have to leave through one exit. If we got this frontage road, it gives access to other interchange, on the freeway. So there's a lot of reasons we need to get this road in place. But first and foremost, we want to get under construction on the next 100,000 foot building to take down more 1200 series buildings. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we can get these roads in and, have the infrastructure in place for tenants to come. We really think, especially with this delivery of Building 1573, there's going to be a lot of notoriety, looking at Hill Air Force Base, with the expansion of the RIC, it's going to bring further attention and more subcontractors are going to be looking in the area. We've gotten a lot of requests. The problem is we can never move quick enough because we just simply don't have the infrastructure in place today to accommodate these tenants. So it's our top priority for this year is to try to figure this out. We've completed designs of a lot of these roads. We know what utilities we have to put in. And it's one of the key things we're going to be trying to work with MIDA on is to figure out how we get these roadways completed so we can continue the growth of the project.
Taylor, do you have a cost estimate as to what you think?
Yeah, so we're looking at about $12 million of additional cost on the south end and probably about $8 to $9 million for the road from 1800 north to the 5600 south. So, I'm going to tell you, sir, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like $21-22 million is what we need to complete those roads. We also need utilities, to access the west side of, the 1800 north interchange. That probably takes us up closer to 25. I think we have the ability to do it. I mean, we have a lot of property taxes we're generating at this point, but we've got to go through and do the analysis to figure out what we can pay for. So we've got pricing on the roads. We're working on pricing on the utilities, and we'll be back to you guys shortly with what we see as the goals. But even though I may get a reprieve from Mr. Harder on the questions about 1200 series, I don't want too much of a reprieve because I want us all to be focused on getting this next building built, and it's really the infrastructure that's going to allow us to do that. The other kind of fun thing, I mean, it's so crazy to me that the 3K trail is coming into being. I mean, this was in 2019, 2020, this was sort of a pie in the sky, idea we had, and MIDA was going down the road of trying to negotiate with the railroad. We actually, will have the 3-gate trail, by I think 2028, completed from 5600 South and Roy all the way to 650 North. There'll be a bridge over the road here at 1800, but to get, 3 miles of trail, completed along this side of the base. And our goal is, if we can get the funding for, the extension to the south of the Falcon Hill Drive, we'll continue the trail to the south and eventually connect to the canal trail, in Clearfield there. So it's really fun to see this trail system coming into being, and we're grateful for UDOT and their support for it. And we'll just kind of keep plugging along and getting these crossings put in place. But it's another kind of fun win that, we don't talk about a lot, because in the grand scheme of things, it's a smaller deal, but it's fun to see that trail coming together and to get that trail connectivity, for people outside the fence. So with that, just kind of in closing, I just want to thank everybody for their support. We're really busy right now. We have a lot of projects going, stuff that I can't talk about necessarily today, but just know, I think the next couple of years, the Falcon Hill team is going to be really busy trying to meet the demands that, we have coming. So excited about the project, and we'll continue to push forward.
Thank you. Thank you for that report. Amazing.
Chair,
Gary, Mr. Harder, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Taylor, tremendous. What you've been able, and the entire team, Brett, Hillary, everything going on up at the Falcon Hill is just tremendous. And yes, I'm very excited about that 1200 series stuff. As that's one of my key pieces every board meeting, is to see how we're doing on that, and it's going to be great. The timelines you mentioned in that are just fabulous to be able to do it. I know Senator Stevenson mentioned the 15 years and everything going on with it, but I really want to commend all who have been involved and are continuing to be involved for the vision that you have in trying to make these things become a reality. Mr. Chair talked in the very beginning, and others, about the connection into military readiness and everything else that's ongoing. I have the opportunity to be up on base. I know several of you do as well, and to see the amount of construction that's going on north to south, east to west. Not only with what we're doing, but what the Corps of Engineers is being able to do on the new campus on the east side of the base that they're doing over there, and some of the other buildings that they're doing on the west side of, by the runways and that, and then everything else that's going on in our project area is tremendous. And I just want to take back just a moment real quick, Mr. Chair, if I can. I mentioned earlier when we were talking about Dan Hemmert, I mentioned, our first executive director, Rick Mayfield, but the two folks up on base, the one who had the vision and the one who pushed through, certainly Jim Sutton, who had the vision of what an enhanced use lease could mean to Hill Air Force Base and the continuation of their mission. And certainly then Bruce Evans, unfortunately, Bruce isn't with us any longer.
Yeah.
But what he was able to do and convince the machine, the bureaucracy within the Air Force, that this could work, and they needed to look at things differently for regulations and statutes and everything else that they had in place. That foundation has really allowed the rest of us who have been involved in it since its inception, many of us, to today, has allowed that journey to proceed to where we are today, to hear these things. And we're going to hear tremendous things on some other updates, 3 in a row as well. But that we had a rock solid foundation in it, Mr. Chair, Senator Stevenson, for your continued support and leadership on this board as well, and to where we are today is just remarkable. But I did want to mention also, like I said, Jim Sutton and Bruce Evans, and we really thank them for all their efforts in this. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, thank you. And that no question about it, Jim Sutton and Bruce were in the early days.
Mr. Chair, this is Paul. Can I say something real? I'll be very quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much for the kind words, but it really is a team. So I want to give you 2 quick examples. It was Taylor Woodbury who called me a few years ago and said, the DGRC is moving. The Union Pacific Rail only serviced them. Wouldn't that be a great trail? to tie these communities together. And then you get people that work there with the traffic things we've talked about, where, you know, when the weather's right, being able to bike in and come in to the base, plus just the public having that amenity. And so it was Taylor Woodbury who had that vision. I called Union Pacific, and the guy said, "Oh, we never give up our right of way because some other industrial user." I said, "Nope, I don't think so. This one, you had one user. It was the Army. They moved, and we have no other use there." And they went through their processes, and sure enough, they concluded, yes, that's a stranded asset and will sell. So we started negotiations. Then UDOT took over because of what they're doing, and so UDOT did a great job negotiating and acquiring that right away for this great amenity. My other example is Brett Christensen, who you heard from. Do you know who came up with the 1200 series replacement at that location? It was him. So when we first started, the theory was this 1,000,000 square feet, you would move people out, you'd tear down some buildings, build something nice for the Air Force and move them back in, which both helps, as we know, for a variety of reasons in protecting the base. The flaw in that was, and it was good news, they had employees in those buildings. There was no place to move them. In all the years, we actually got to tear down one building. And when somebody would move out, they hurry to move somebody else in. And so Brett said, you know, the only way this is going to work is that we find another spot and build the replacement building, then move them out. Then we can knock down the buildings and get all new buildings inside the project area. And anyway, and you now see it's under construction. So great team. MIDA does good work, and our board and our staff. But I tell you, the partnership with SRDP and with Brett and his team has just been amazing.
It's unbelievable a team effort. So thank you again. Other comments? Again, Taylor, great report. The numbers, I guess they're quantifiable, but it just seems like the effort has been astronomical. There are things that we probably haven't even talked about, the armed service buildings and other things that have been replaced, and the assets that have been given to our military. Again, it's a very great job. So thank you again.
Thanks,
Anybody
Robert.
else on that report? If not, I'm going to go ahead and Hillary, thank you. I'm going to go to Ashley and to Kristen.
Great. We have the MVP Executive Director here with us to provide a project area update. I'll turn the time over to Christine Russ.
Good morning. Thank you everyone for having me. My name is Christine Russ, and I am the Executive Director of the Mountain Veteran Program. A little intro about myself. Before joining the Mountain Veteran Program, I served 6 years in the United States Army. I joined the military because I wanted to serve our country and to serve the people of this country. When it came time to leave the Army, I knew service had to be a big part of my next chapter, which is why I feel incredibly honored to be leading the Mountain Veteran Program. The Mountain Veteran Program launched in February of this year, shortly after the grand opening of the Inn at Sundance Mountain Resort. During our inaugural winter season, we delivered 828 program days to wounded veterans and their loved ones. Participants experienced adaptive skiing and snowboarding at Sundance, along with art sessions in the art studio, wellness treatments at the spa, morning mobility at the spa yurt, and communal dining. Our summer season has continued that momentum. To date, we have delivered 190 program days, with participants taking part in horseback riding, zip lining, fly fishing, rafting on the Provo River, art classes, wellness treatments, and so on. Across both seasons, participants consistently reported increased confidence, stronger connections with others, and improved emotional well-being. These outcomes reinforce what we believe from the beginning, that there is a significant need for this program, and the Mountain Veteran Program and Sundance Resort is uniquely positioned to help meet that need. We've also made tremendous progress in building long-term partnerships and relationships. Since launching the program in February, We've developed a relationship with the VA Whole Health Department along with their recreational therapy team. This partnership provides a sustainable referral pipeline and also helps ensure that we are reaching veterans who will benefit most from these experiences and from this program. Lastly, we have an incredible future opportunity in which we are exploring an MVP international program initiative by hosting a cohort of Ukrainian military personnel in summer of 2027. This is still developing and there will be more to follow. We're really excited for the rest of the summer season, and thank you so much for your continued support of the Mountain Veteran Program. Pending any questions.
Thank you for that presentation, and pretty amazing what you're doing up there. Again, the service that you're giving, but the service of those who you're helping, will always be indebted to the effort they've made to protect our freedom. So thank you, and it's an honor to be part of it. Mr. Harder, I can just tell other people. Anybody else want to make a comment on this one?
Yeah, all I would say is it's been terrific. I hadn't heard all the numbers yet, so Christine, appreciate all of that as well. I was there obviously for the ribbon cutting with Bill, and it was a tremendous. I've heard good things about everything that Christine and the program is offering to the veterans. I think it's a great addition to Utah for the veterans and their families and the currently serving that are participating in that. So well done. Look forward to seeing more great reports. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Let's continue on then. Wow, Heather, Kurt, let's go at the recreational facility, the great things that are happening there. It's up there the other day, and you guys don't stop. It's just a lot going on. So look forward to the report here. Go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Heather Cruz, Project Area Director for the MRF project area here in Wasatch County. Kurt, I'm going to turn it over to him in just a minute. He's got a lot of great visuals and a lot of in-depth detail on what is happening primarily over on the west side. So we bifurcate our project area, as most know, with Highway 40. So west side would be where you see the mountain resort expansion primarily, and then over on the east side is where a large number of residential development is occurring. And most of that falls under our partners at Wasatch County. And I just wanted to bring that up again to just share a little statistic. Right now, we have about 250 active permits within our project area between the east and west side. So to your comment about a lot going on, yes, there is a lot going on, and it continues, and we're very excited to see the milestones that we are hitting. One of the other things I wanted to share with the board is some of the reports that we have gotten from the Grand Hyatt Deer Valley, so our MWR facility with our military room nights. Right now, this year, 26 to date, we've got about 3,900 rooms on the books, which already exceeds what we had last year with an average room rate for our military at $149 a night. We also have about 54 government and military group and conference bookings this year, 2026. And what I think is really impressive is for Q1 of next year, 2027, we already have 2,000 rooms on the books. So 2027 is looking to be our strongest year yet. And we're super excited to be inviting and welcoming all of those guests. We've had a lot of different opportunities at the Grand Hyatt for not just guests of the Salute to Service rooms, but also opening it up to our military community. We had an Armed Forces Day where folks were invited to come in for different activities, recreational activities, and also a luncheon. But one of the things I wanted to share with you before I turn it over to Kurt for his updates is a letter that we received from a military family member. I think it's important to share these. We get a lot of different comments and feedback from our members and letters, but wanted to share this because of much of what we do up there is measured by timelines, our budgets, certificates of occupancy. And while those are critical and important, and we absolutely use those as markers, I think this letter highlights, in my opinion, what is one of the highest measures of success for this project and our core mission of supporting our military members, their families, and our communities. So if I may, I'd like to read it, and then I will turn it over to Kurt for his update. So hello all. I wanted to personally thank you and the Grand Hyatt Deer Valley team for offering the Salute to Service program for military families. You may not realize the impact that this opportunity has on families like ours. My daughter will be arriving in June, and her visit comes at a particularly difficult time. Her husband has just departed for an overseas deployment, one that will keep him separated from his family for an extended period of time. With the upcoming Father's Day weekend, this is an especially emotional season for her and her young sons as they begin adjusting to life without their husband and father at home. Your program has given them the chance to escape for a few days, enjoy some much needed distractions, and create positive memories together during a challenging time. This discounted rate offered to enlisted military members is more than a financial benefit. It is a meaningful gesture of appreciation and support that truly lifts spirits when it is needed most. Thank you for making this possible. Your generosity and commitment to military families are deeply appreciated. And I can honestly say that you have made a new Hyatt fan of me. With sincere gratitude, a proud grandmother. So again, I think that just really highlights the core of what we are working on here at the project up in Wasatch County, and are super grateful that we have the opportunity and privilege to serve these families and their military members that do so much to protect us and provide for us the lifestyles that we have and enjoy each and every day. So with that, I turn it over to Kurt for his presentation. Sorry, sir, you're muted.
I was talking away there. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the letter. I have to say the service that people get and the military is extraordinary. And thank you for making that possible up there. It just is a great opportunity for them to have a great break. So, your staff does a good job. It's just phenomenal training that they've had. So thank you, the staff up there. Kirk?
Thank you, Heather. President Adams and distinguished board, I'm Kirk Krieg with Excel. First and foremost, on behalf of Gary, myself, Andrew, and the entire team, Extel's been working with Paul for over a decade. And so we truly appreciate his efforts and wish him well on his retirement. With that said, congratulations to former Senator Hemmert and his new endeavors. We're pleased to see that he's taken the helm, and look forward to Nicole and Heather, Richard, and Paula all helping him further MIDA into the future. With that said, we'll jump into the presentation of Deer Valley East Village. What you're going to see is substantial progress as we move forward. First and foremost, working on the military. This entire summer has really been set aside by Nate and his team. Nate's the general manager of Hyatt, to really showcase and make the summer special for those military guests. Not only is it through the discounts, as Heather mentioned, but there are functions, outings, and then special barbecues for the military. With that said, the hotel is gaining exponentially on group business, which is fantastic. Additionally, we're completing the spa renovations this summer, and so the entire spa will be open by next winter. If the public hasn't come and stayed, we encourage you to not only participate with the pool and the F&B experience, but the entire facility. With that, we are currently a dry climate, and we are working with Joel Ferry. Hats off to him and the DNR team. We are working on two basically public-private partnerships with them. We have tremendous amount of defensible space that Extel and the Mountainside Foundation, which is the foundation for Deer Valley East Village, is enacting defensible space, and not just a little bit of defensible space. We're doing about $2.5 million over the next 2.5 years to really go in and clean up the Deer Valley East Village and associated ski terrain. Much of this land was held by a Dutch conglomerate for over 40 years and hadn't been touched or mitigated. So we're taking those efforts and really proceeding further. With that,
yeah, thank you for that. As we see the fires going on right now, and again, Joel Ferry is the director for DNR, Division of Natural Resources for the state. So that's a big deal. Especially with the fires, and that's a several $million commitment. Thank you for doing that. That not only protects you, but it protects the entire community up there. So thank you.
Yeah, President Adam, it's really about the region, and the beauty's in the land, but safety is first and foremost. With that said, we also took on another endeavor. So through the Mountainside Foundation, we are enacting what are basically wildfire detection cameras. And the technology is incredible. There's actually 23 cameras being put in this summer, 3 of which will be focused on Deer Valley East Village, which we funded. But we also went to the state legislation and secured a $300,000 grant that basically provides the back end from the Utah universities. So the Utah universities support this for the different fire districts, and it's real-time and live cameras. So every lightning detection and every detection from a fire source will be seen. These cameras are currently being placed. Again, 23 in the initial outreach, of which 3 are focused on this specific region and basically the Jordanelle State Park and the State Park by Midway.
Yeah, I wish we'd have had them down south.
With that said, we continue on with the mountain improvements. We have some material efforts to be completed this summer. We started the 10 million gallon retention pond, which actually basically is backup for fire support and helicopter support for that. That is underway. We're wrapping up our permitting with dam safety. We also are installing our culinary water and our sewer, 2 different systems on the mountain, because Deer Valley is materially underway with the Park Peak Lodge. And so all of it will come together and ties down to the primary system in each village. Most exciting, and try to get you some pictures this morning, but the helicopters are flying for the Hale Peak pod. It's lift 10 that we're putting in this year. So that'll be a new addition to the 10 lifts we had last year. And we're also installing 100% snowmaking on that pod as well. So you'll see that come out in December and be ready for the skiers in December. Deer Valley is one of our main partners. There's a highlight of their summer activities that includes Deer Valley East Village. But again, this project is really about the region and the military. So please visit their website. Most importantly, from our commitment to the community is the hiking and biking trails. Last August, we turned over 27 miles of hiking and biking trails to Deer Valley. We have with Creative Trails another 7 or 8 contracted this year. It just depends on the weather, how far they can get along, and if they'll complete 7 or 8. But Bob and his team are out there and mobilized. With that said, these trails aren't open yet. With all the mountain activities and, basically exposed piping for snowmaking and lines for lifts and our cleanup and punch that we're enacting on last year's improvements, they're not open yet, but Deer Valley is positioned to keep these trails clean and ready for the public next season when our mountain improvements are completed. This is the core of the village, and this photo is from just a couple weeks ago, but you'll see that there's been material progress, and we'll go through each of those. There are 9 cranes flying currently that are in place to further these projects. Just up the road, we are opening the Hilton Canopy. So Andrew Carey is the general manager. and he has been working with the construction team, Mike Boyes and his team, to finalize and complete Punch. They're looking to open the end of July, hopefully a TOC next week. And it has extensive F&B to service the northern part of this project area, everything from Deer Crest to Pioche to Deer Cove in that area. So 4 different offerings. We did bring an executive chef out of Salt Lake. The primary restaurant is Italian and has 2 pizza ovens. So please come and partake when we open in the end of July. But it's a 180 room hotel, a fantastic addition to the offering that we will have at Deer Valley East Village. The Four Seasons, probably one of our cornerstone projects. When you look at it, we have the Tower B, which is the hotel and residences. You're on the 7th level there. It's moving rapidly. Jacobson is the contractor. We're doing well with sales. So we're over 50% sold out by volume, which is tremendous as we proceed forward. That helps with the construction. The construction financing is 100% complete, but the sales always help support those efforts. With that, the Tower C is a residential condominiums next to it that is connected either through the air bridge, the plaza, or the parking, but we're on the 12th floor. So we're making great progress. And as you'll see, and if you've been on site, the facade is actually going on, the mechanical's being installed, and it's truly taken on a life of its own. And it's the Waldorf, which is just to the northwest. Mike and his team, Mike's the VP of construction, is competing with Brian internally, which is great. He's making progress on catching up. And what you see on the right-hand side is the tower for the residential, and on the left-hand side is the hotel and residential. They make great progress with on the 5th floor of the construction. Jacobson is also the contractor on that project. And with regards to sales, we just completed our registration in New York and New Jersey. So we've had more of a regional focus with Waldorf, but we'll be going out globally. With Extel being New York based, it's very important that we have our registrations in place as we start to further market and really go global with that sales message. One of our main partners is Marcella, and that's the Reef Capital. Jared and his team, they're making progress on the Marcella Ski Lodge, which you see here. That's just on the corner up by lift 2. And with that said, they have sold out all their lots on the Marcella Estates. They will be opening their Tigerwood Golf Course associated with it this July. There are 29 homes in DRC at this point, and then 30 of them are under construction. Which is positive. And you'll see these homes coming on the market. The MLS has started to see 4 additional, and there are more than 5 expected to be completed by the winter season. Marcella Landing is Reef's townhome project just next door. The positive side there is they are under construction pretty much on all of their phases, and that's because they sold 22 out of 26 of the townhomes are bound and contracted that they have on the market. So out of the 50, they have 22 contracted and bound. Cormont is also the project with Reef. This is the 371 condominiums. They're starting with towers 1, 2, and 5. And if you recall, tower 1 is over here, 2 sets right here, and 5 is where you actually see the pad. And then in between is the ice ribbon and all of the retail. Extel did retain the retail on the 1st floor, and we'll talk about retail offering as Peter and Chrissy are getting ready to lease up in Q3. But with this said, the 3 buildings have been offered from sales. They are fully financed, as well as our projects, the hotel, both the Four Seasons and Waldorf are fully financed. And that's important for MIDA, as in case anything happens with either of these 2 developers, the project will be completed. With that said, 93% 3 out of 142 that are offered have been contracted. And so that's more than 56%. Valverde, really picking up on that community. This is Magleby. 6 of the cabins, 10 of the residences, and 2 of the state lots are under construction. But more importantly, their sense of place and really what they have provided for these homeowners is a wellness concept. And up here to the very top of the page, to the north, where you'll see these green roofs, they've started their over 100,000 square feet wellness center. This will focus mainly on medical wellness and not just recreation. There is recreation wellness there, but medical wellness and really a dedicated community about wellness. So really hats off to Magleby on furthering those efforts. It took them a while to get the plans that they wanted and the program that they wanted. And then obviously always financing takes a little bit of time, but their wellness center is fully financed as well. Working with Deer Valley, as we look to further the resort and the expansion, the skier services building is what you see here, a little over 2 months, and it will be completely turned over in core and shell for them to fit out. So it will be open the 27-28 season. It's a tremendous building which will house ticketing, the day lodge, the club program, rentals, all the different components, ski school will be housed out of there. So Deer Valley is excited to get in there and finish up their interiors and have a complete build out for the 27-28 season. With that said, as I mentioned, Chrissy and Peter are working on retail. They have secured their broker and are going into the market on Q3 of this year. There's a little over 200,000 square feet of retail and F&B throughout the village core, over 111,000 square feet at just Cormont's first floor alone, and then the balance in the other adjacent and adjoining buildings. One of the basically projects that we are in the background working diligently on is called Marina West. This is the 70 acres we procured and have been in partnership with MIDA on for recreation. As you may recall, MIDA is doing the recreation fields and the pickleball courts to the north of the development portion of the project. Our commitment on the development part of the project is to bring workforce housing as well as what we call regional commercial. And we are making great strides. What we have underway is basically engaged a study that both economically and based programming wise from 2 different firms that we'll receive in early August and will allow us to really refine the program that we have planned for Marina West of workforce housing, what type of workforce housing, how it's really allocated and split among the different users, everything from the hotel managers to the line workers to the kids spinning the lift. So we're looking forward to that. And then we'll be coming back to MIDA and enact our site plan and proceed forward with this. As part of Marina West, there were 2 different parking lots that we worked with the MIDA team on. There's a 615 parking lot that was just paved and striped. We're just waiting to put up our lights before we turn it over to the hotels. But that 615 parking lot is really for the hotels and the retail workers to have parking if they're not housed on site. We anticipate over 600 units of workforce housing, but you also will have some employees that will require parking. So to have it that close in is very, very important to get the right employee and to put on the right display of hospitality for all of these future guests. Each of those spots will be allocated amongst the different hotels and the retail. And then the upper parking lot has just been started, and that is really for the recreation during the summertime. And then lastly, Civil up, you'll see on the left-hand side of the page is the Marina West 615 parking lot that we just talked about. We are completing the final subdivision of Marcella, and we'll turn that over this fall. That is the McHenry subdivision. As you may recall, we went back and actually reworked the streets and the engineerings to put a tunnel in for ski to actually the ski run to go over the vehicular tunnel to make a better experience. So that'll be coming this fall and fully dedicated to the PID. Lot 11 is our boutique hotel site. We have 2 years of infrastructure. We actually funded and started that construction this spring. So we're in our first year and are starting to design plans on that hotel. And then lastly, the day skier drop off, which will be active for the public skier this year, which will take you through the bottom of the skier services, up those escalators to the gondola, is about 75% complete. It will be ready for this winter.
Okay.
With that said, we just thank the MIDA board and really wish you a fantastic July 4th.
Thank you again. What a presentation. Again, a lot going on. Quick question. When is the scheduled opening for the Four Seasons and then the Waldorf, just to get an idea for timing?
Both will be fully open by the 28-29 season. If construction goes as anticipated, we hope to have a portion of the Four Seasons for the 27-28, but we can't commit to that. It really depends on what our winter conditions have.
Okay. Well, exciting. Thank you. Any questions? Again, great job, Kurt. It's amazing what you're doing and the experience that you're putting together for the military up there. So, Ariana, you going to take the National Guard?
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much again. My name is Ariana Farber. I am the project area director as well as the deputy director of MIDA, project area director of National Guard Project Area. And we're very pleased to announce the full closure of the Beaver Armory Motor Pool Expansion Project. I am happy to report that our engineer's estimate brought this project at $850,000, but we were able to complete it at just over $330,000, which is significant savings.
Wow.
So
that's 40%.
With that, sir, we intend to help them further. As you know, you all approved MIDA supporting that project. So what we intend to do is to take the savings from that project and help them to do a remodel at the old Tooele Armory. And as many of you may know, that armory is extremely old and does not have sufficient bathroom facilities for female service members. So we hope to take those savings and apply it toward that remodel and just improve quality of life for our female guardsmen. So very happy to report that. We've got an additional 28,000 square feet for parking and storage. I have just a really brief video, 2 minutes, to show you our ribbon cutting ceremony and just what an amazing community event it turned out being. Our contractor ended up being the wrestling coach for the Beaver High School. And so we had those young men come out and help with the project as well. So just 2 minutes. I thank you for your time. So
love to see it. Go ahead.
In the meantime, let's talk about this. A Southern Utah military facility is getting a major upgrade aimed at improving response times and supporting future growth. Our Southern Utah correspondent Cannon Sechrist takes us to Beaver.
Now, this project may look like a simple parking expansion, but officials say that it plays a big role in how quickly the Utah National Guard can respond when they're needed. This project at the Beaver Armory is all about expanding the motor pool, where military vehicles are kept and worked on. Officials say the old space just wasn't big enough, and that limited how many vehicles they could keep here.
What they needed to do was to demolish a building and create a new parking area, re-fence, and in the process we did a lot of upgrades. We helped them with moving some electricity poles and doing some other things that would just increase the quality of the work
parking area here.
Now, the motor pool covers more than 28,000 square feet, and leaders say this isn't just about the extra space. It's about making sure they're ready when they're called on.
This will enable us to keep our facilities state-of-the-art, and it will enable us to be ready response citizen soldiers at any point for any need for the state.
The project cost just over $330,000, and it also brought in the local community. A Beaver-based contractor won the bid and even brought in members of the high school wrestling team to help with the work.
That contractor happened to have a connection to the Beaver High wrestling team, and he employed some of those kids to do part of the project. And so we think it's an awesome way that the kids, the community, the National Guard, everybody got involved.
And officials say this won't be the last project like this, with more upgrades expected at armories across the state.
This is a really great, expansion for the Beaver Armory, but also for facilities, and really hopefully a right foot forward for all of these facilities in the future.
Now, officials tell me this is expected to be the first of several armory expansions statewide as they continue working to modernize facilities and keep up with growing demands. Reporting in Beaver, Cannon Sechrist, ABC4 News.
And the
fun video.
Thank you so much. Yes, we just wanted to thank the board so much for your leadership. It's been a complete and absolute honor to work with these service members and these uniformed armed services members. And we ask you to think about and pray for those community members in Beaver too as they face these fires. And that's all the updates that I have, but we look forward to future updates, sir.
Thank you for that. And I think we all need to recognize what's going on there. So there are in our prayers, and it's a real challenging event for them. So thank you.
Could I make a comment, Mr. President?
Go ahead, Senator.
As I watched that video and how positive that is and what it says about our National Guard and MIDA, I also read the captions running underneath, and I found that to be just totally destructive, and it kind of puts the press in the place they should be put in. My apologies for changing the subject there, but go back and look at that and then just read what they've captioned that with underneath. I think you might want to blank that out when you show that the next time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Senator. And there are a lot of misconceptions, but I'd say wrestlers are great. Having wrestled in high school, and it's great to have them part of the team. And I'm sure they contributed. So thank you again for that. And MIDA's doing a lot of great things. I just echo one more time, thank you to the staff. We leave and go on to other things, but you guys just keep working away. Thank you for all the great work you do. Economics for the state, readiness for the military, and then the relationships and quality of life you bring, and those relationships are so important. So thank you again. Great reports all the way across. So any other comments on those reports? Not, I'll take a motion. Anybody?
To adjourn, Mr. Chair. Gary.
Gary. Motion. Did I hear it?
Yes, Mr. Chair, Gary.
Go ahead. Motion to adjourn. Is that what I heard?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a second? I'm not sure I need one.
I would second.
Okay, I'll just place it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you for the great work. And again, great morning. We're going to keep going, and we're going to continue to make Utah and America the greatest spot in the world. Thank you again.
Thanks, everyone. Meeting adjourned.